I'm Professor Michael and this is KiniTalk. Today we'll be speaking to one of the most prominent faces in Pakatan Rakyat. She's the Vice President for PKR and also an incumbent for the Lembah Pantai parliamentary seat. Nurul Izzah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What got you into politics? I know you're the daughter of Anwar Ibrahim, but was that enough to put you into politics?
Well, I always view my involvement in politics as a gradual realization or gradual movement, because it started out with very much my father's sacking, his eventual arrest, the entire Reformasi movement that hit us at the time, and that propelled me to campaigning actively for political prisoners, their plight and their eventual release, and of course moving on to campaigning for active politicians, PAS, DAP, of course Keadilan when it was set up in 1999, and finally, you know, myself as a candidate in the 2008 elections. So it's a gradual process.
So how early did it start?
You know, before that, there were a lot of critical Asuntarians back when I was in high school. So I was in the literary and debating club, and a lot of them were very critical of some of the decisions made, especially the Bakundam. But I would say 98, Reformasi was the main factor.
Okay. And you've gone through a lot, not only as the daughter of Dr. Sri Anwar, but also as the opposition politician yourself. So what keeps you going?
I think if you find meaning in whatever you do, that's very important, because we are all part of the bigger picture, part of this movement. And I think we're very lucky because the movement and the struggle for change, for political economic reforms, is not only shouldered by us, but supported by so many Malaysians wanting a more democratic, equitable and multiracial future. And that's very important, and that gives me the strength to go on. I would tell you in 2004, especially before my father's release, there was little hope left. We were left with one seat in Permatan Pau. No one could really foresee the release of Anwar Ibrahim. And again, whenever things get tough, I always go back to that moment in time and realize we are so much luckier now, and there's so much to be thankful for, and that's why we have to continue to struggle for a better Malaysia.
So what do you make of the political nature in Malaysia? You're talking about the smear campaigns, these scandals, political violence especially. What do you make of it?
It's something that we have to fight against. Do we expect such degree of attacks, use of slander, political mudslinging? I think we should not accept such a culture. And for me, you know, I hold the government of the day responsible, and I do hope until today the Minister for Home Affairs will basically take up the responsibility to act very strongly against the perpetrators of political violence. You know, as we speak, Tian Chua, the MP for Batu, former MP for Batu, is facing a sedition charge in court. But it's really not being applied equally to everyone. And I think that's why you see the continuing prevalence of political violence, because people will keep at it as long as there's no clear-cut message, action from the authorities.
So, to the run-up to the GE, do you think it would get worse?
Again, that should not be an expectation accepted by anyone in Malaysia. You're talking about a democratic nation. Each one of us is supposed to be accorded our rights to support and to campaign and to voice on behalf of our party. And I believe that, you know, whatever it may be, I still demand that the Minister of Home Affairs do his work most professionally if he refuses to resign and give it to someone better. Now, when you talk about our preparation, first and foremost, we're also preparing security officials to assist us, but at the same time, we inform all our workers to follow the law and to cooperate fully with the police. So if you look at the incidences of political violence that has taken place in Lembah Pantai, each one of them, will be supported by a police report.
Okay.
So we don't make empty allegations, and we hope in response, the government, the authorities will also investigate and reprimand those responsible.
So have you, when you spoke about security officials, you're talking about private, or have you...
I'm talking about our members. You know, you have the unit Amal from PAS. So for our purposes, we have our local boys, members from Keadilan who are set up as our security and to ensure that our polling agents, our main line of defense during elections, are supported and can do their work in peace.
Have the police been of any help?
You know, I don't like to generalize. I think that, yes, there are instances where they've been very partisan due to instructions, but there are also other instances where they've been very professional. Okay. So for me, I enjoy a cordial relationship with the heads, the OCS, they call it, the heads of the police stations all around Lembah Pantai. And even after Bersih, I can still get the then OCPD of Brickfields to come for a dialogue in Jalan Riung Bangsa. So for me, you know, you have to understand, it is not a personal matter. You do not personalize these things. We must ensure that everyone, regardless of their political stripes, will be protected and are equal under the law.
Okay. Going back to the scandals and all that, there were alleged videos depicting you, and now there's also new ones depicting, apparently it's Mustafa Ali from PAS. So it must be really hard being an opposition.
You know, I think, you know, it was a rude awakening. You know, being in Malaysia, supposedly a conservative country, and you know, it really made me question, to what lengths will these people go to? I mean, there has to be a full stop. When you're talking about, we are part and parcel of the democratic process. The Prime Minister of the day, I mean, he is still my Prime Minister. I might be a member of the opposition, I might be a member of and leader of Parti Keadilan Rakyat, but why are we being targeted in such a manner? It's such a... We've hit a new low in politics. I think that's the word to use. And I really ask that all Malaysians reject the use of slander, the use of such mudslinging to attack your opponents. Why can't we discuss on policies? Why can't we really embrace a new culture of politics where if you don't agree with someone, then please look at the track record, argue with them and allow them a rebuttal, but not to do this.
So with the inaction from the federal government to actually condemn all these acts, do you think that we're used to this kind of political culture? Do you think we can move away from it?
It will not be easy. I think, you know, we've hit a period where there will be lasting effects. You're talking about children being exposed to such words such as sodomy. You're talking about years, yeah? It's being depicted through the mainstream media. And you can't erase that fact. You can't erase all these experiences. But we can certainly expect, and if you have a government that has the political will to say no to these things, to punish those who are promoting such horrible, vile acts, certainly, you know, there will be marked change. It has to be a showcase of leadership.
But you don't think it will be easy to change?
I will say that the after effects, that's something that we will have to face. Either way, you know, you can't erase the fact that Papa Gomo exists. You can't erase the fact that he's destroyed so many lives. I mean, do you understand why slander is even worse than murder, the way Islam views it? Because it goes back to a person's reputation. It goes back to a person's good name. And, you know, those things, it elevates society. And it just, like I said, we can definitely overcome this, but we will have to understand that it will take some time. And because we've allowed someone like that to invade the political and also the media space.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of that?
Okay, let's go to Rais Yatim's 10-minute offer on RTM. What do you make of it?
Now, I need to ask whether it's a serial thing or is it just one-off? So everything you offer, I really hope Rais Yatim, the minister, can basically get an agreement, proper agreement with the EC as to what is he offering to the opposition. That's one. Now, if it's a serial offer, then I would say I would consider it, because it is important for us to get airspace. But please let all offers, or any offer, as it may, be predicated on sincerity.
What if it's one-off?
I think that is insufficient, and it really is a mockery of freedom of media, freedom of space for all parties to be who'll be contesting. And certainly, you talking about this. I mean, you're asking me this question. This is being leveled at me as we have been inundated or forcibly shown 2 hours of BN manifesto, which is a copycat manifesto of the Pakatan. But the point is, it smacks of hypocrisy, sheer hypocrisy. So again, I would definitely enjoy and I would definitely appreciate as media space. But when they do this, I mean, it's important for us also to keep to a level of maybe we have to be principled in our positions, and at sometimes we have to say no.
I think the EC chief came out saying that it's better that if you just accept it instead of letting it go to waste.
He says a lot of things, including not having accepted my letter of complaints on the irregularities in the electoral roll. So, he's contradicted himself many times before this. However, I hope that he will be able to convince the minister to allow us to have a series of interactions and coverage in the mainstream media, especially television. Okay,
so moving into the election, EC has announced a 15-day campaign period. Do you think that's sufficient?
I would say it's quite sufficient. I'm quite satisfied, and I applaud the EC for having moved baby steps along the way. However, my concern remains in the days the time lapse between the early voting exercise and the actual counting. So we're talking about 30th of April, where the voting will take place, and the counting on the 5th of May. So that lapse concerns me, because how do you ensure it's secure? How do you ensure the validity of the votes?
Okay. And also, moving into SPR itself.
Yes.
Do you think, since we had Bersih 1, Bersih 2, and all these years, since the last election, do you think it has reformed itself enough?
I believe in the goodness of individuals, despite the insidious designs of some. I'm only concerned with the recent pronouncement that they made yesterday, where no other individuals can actually do a verification on my cards except for the police or SPR or EC officials. So again, we are not quite happy with the EC as a whole, but we are Democrats. We believe in the democratic process. So in order to change and improve the process, we would like to participate, take over the federal government, and inshallah do what is necessary.
So moving into the election, at this point, simply put, do you trust them?
Sorry?
Do you trust them?
Like I said, I trust in the goodness of
but as a whole?
Of some individuals. But I also know and I'm aware of some greater insidious plan up there. So, again, I believe that the high turnout vote and the momentum for change will allow us to overcome any challenges, God willing.
And Dato' Sri Anwar has revealed that Najib is pushing to unseat 3 popular individuals in...
I think there's more, but he's just focusing on...
So, and I think you spoke to him about safe seats and that you want to remain in Lembah Pantai. Why that decision?
Well, we are really soldiers in the sense that you are an agent for change. So you should not do something because it is easy. You have to do it because it's right. I am not under any illusions to think that this is going to be an easy fight, especially for me. But, There comes a time when you have to say no to political patronage, you have to say no to irregularities in the electoral roll, and I hope that Malaysians, and I'm confident that they will overcome these challenges.
Okay, and
yes,
has said that you don't do much work for the constituency. How do you?
You know, he has been saying this for so long, in fact more than a year. And I would definitely encourage many Malaysians to read my blog, to find out of my various activities. Again, spending 100% of my allowance, and of course my husband's, every month, because we are denied the 2 million ringgit constituency allocation funds. And for someone like him who has no qualms about using and utilizing government funds, agencies, and of course DBKL, I think it's quite an unfair statement. That's why I've called for a debate, which he has responded with a police report, sadly. You have a debate to allow me my space, allow me prime-time television space to explain and showcase my efforts in Lembah Pantai, at the federal level, in Parliament. And I'm sure, you know, we'll see a real fight there.
So I think that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.